Opening. The world is noisy. Everyone is shouting for attention, posting their progress, and begging for a like to feel valid. But while they are performing, the masters are practicing. While they are talking, the giants are building. You are here because you are tired of the noise. You are here because you realize that every time you tell the world your plans, you bleed the energy required to execute them. Today, we kill the performer. Today, we embrace the silence. This is not just an audiobook. It is a surgical strike on your weakness. You have a choice. Remain a loud amateur or become a silent master. Discipline changes everything. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Kill the need to be seen. The world is addicted to the frame. People have forgotten the picture because they are too busy polishing the frame. They are obsessed with how their life looks to people they don't even like. They are drowning in a sea of performative excellence. They post the gym selfie before they've even broken a sweat. They announce the new project before they've written the first page. And then, they wonder why they never finish. They wonder why the fire dies out after 48 hours. I will tell you why. It is because you are leaking your power. Every time you open your mouth to broadcast your intentions, you are bleeding out the very energy required to execute them. There is a psychological trap waiting for you. It is called social reality. Listen closely. That's the key. When you tell someone about a big goal, I'm going to lose 30 pounds, I'm starting a 6-figure business, I'm finally getting my life together, and that person acknowledges you, your brain undergoes a chemical deception. They give you a look of admiration. They say, "That's amazing, I'm proud of you." In that moment, your brain releases a hit of dopamine. It feels good. It feels like success. But it is a hollow victory. Your brain cannot distinguish between the talk of progress and the act of progress. It feels like you have already reached the finish line, even though you haven't even laced up your shoes. You've already received the reward. The social reality has been created, and because the reward was given for free, your drive to do the actual, grueling work disappears. Most people stay weak because they avoid discomfort, and the ultimate discomfort is being ignored. We are social creatures. We crave the nod. We crave the like. We crave the validation that tells us we are special. But true power does not need an audience. Only insecurity craves applause. Think about the giants of history. They didn't have status updates. They didn't have stories. They had deep, dark, lonely hours of labor. They built in the shadows. They mastered their craft in the silence. You don't need their permission to be great. You don't need them to check in on your progress. You don't need them to validate your worth. Every time you seek their approval, you are handing them the keys to your kingdom. If they can make you feel good with a compliment, they can destroy you with a criticism. You must become unfuckwithable. And that starts with keeping the door locked. You have a choice. You can continue to be a performer. You can keep shouting into the void, begging for a scrap of attention, and remaining exactly where you are. Or, you can embrace the silence. You can decide, right now, that the world is no longer invited into your laboratory. From this moment on, you are a ghost. If you go to the gym, you do it for the iron, not the camera. If you study a new skill, you do it for the mastery, not the resume. If you start a business, you do it for the freedom, not the status. There is a terrifying level of confidence that comes from having a secret. When you know you are working, when you know you are evolving, but the world thinks you are still the same person, that is power. That is the silent edge. Most people are hollow. They have a massive public image, but a tiny, fragile private reality. They are all bark and no bite. They are all brand and no substance. Comfort is destroying your potential. The comfort of being liked is the most dangerous drug of all. It makes you soft. It makes you a slave to the opinions of the herd. But you are leaving the herd. You must learn to find satisfaction in the internal win. You must learn to look in the mirror at the end of a long, invisible day and say, "I did the work." No one saw it. No one cheered. And that is why I am stronger than them. When you stop seeking external validation, your self-respect begins to grow. It's not the fake confidence of someone who talks loud. It's the quiet, heavy confidence of a man who knows what he's capable of. People will notice the change. They will see the look in your eyes. They will see the way you carry your shoulders. They will sense the weight of your presence. They will ask you, "What happened to you? Where have you been?" Do not answer them. That's the key. The moment you explain yourself, you lose. The moment you justify your transformation, you give it away. Let them wonder. Let them speculate. Let them be confused by your silence. Your silence is a filter. It keeps the weak people away and draws the right opportunities in. Real recognize real. And real doesn't need to scream. You are going to kill the performer today. You are going to bury the version of yourself that needs to be seen to feel alive. You are going to start finding joy in the secret struggle. You are going to fall in love with the work that no one applauds. You have a choice. You can be a talker, or you can be a closer. The talkers are everywhere. They fill the cafes, the social media feeds, and the graveyards. The closers are rare. They are the ones who move in silence and only let the world see the result when it's too late for anyone to stop them. Which one are you? If you want to be a master, you must first become a mystery. Lock the door. Shut the window. Turn off the notifications. The transformation has begun, and it is none of their business. Discipline changes everything, but private discipline changes who you are at your core. Stop proving. Start becoming. Chapter 2. Win in the dark. The clock says 4 a.m. The world is silent. The streets are empty. Your house is cold. Your bed is warm. In this moment, there is no audience. There are no cameras. There is no one to see if you get up, and no one to judge you if you stay under the covers. This is the moment where most people lose. They lose because they are waiting for a reason. They are waiting for a feeling. They are waiting for the sun to come up so they can feel the warmth of the day before they start their work. But you are different. You are here to find your edge. Weakness always wants comfort. The dark is where you find your edge. Most people believe that success happens in the light. They think it happens on the stage, in the boardroom, or on the day of the competition. They are wrong. Success is merely the formal announcement of the work you did when no one was watching. Victory is a byproduct of the dark. That's the key. Character is not what you show the world when the spotlight is on you. Character is what you do when the lights are out. Character is the conversation you have with yourself when the only witness is your own conscience. When you work in the dark, you are building something that cannot be faked. You are building shadow strength. Shadow strength is the foundation that keeps you standing when the storms of life arrive. While the rest of the world is sleeping or scrolling or numbing themselves with cheap entertainment, you are in the lab. You are sharpened. You are focused. Most people stay weak because they avoid discomfort. They avoid the cold. They avoid the silence. They avoid the terrifying reality of being alone with their own thoughts. They need noise. They need distraction. They need someone to tell them, "Good job," just to make it through the hour. You don't need their permission. You don't need a cheerleader to do your push-ups. You don't need a mentor to read the book. You don't need a social media following to start the business. If you can win the battle against your own laziness at 4 a.m., the rest of the day belongs to you. If you can master the dark, the light is easy. You have a choice. You can choose the path of the herd. You can wait until 9 a.m. You can do exactly what is expected of you, and not a drop more. You can fit in. You can be comfortable. But remember, comfort is destroying your potential. Comfort is a slow, silent killer. It whispers in your ear that you've done enough. It tells you that you deserve a break. It convinces you that one day off won't matter. But in the dark, there are no excuses. The dark is honest. It shows you exactly who you are. Are you a person of your word? Do you do what you said you would do, even when the feeling you said it in has long since passed? There is a deep, heavy pride that comes from secret labor. It is a pride that no one can take from you because no one gave it to you. When you walk into a room at 4 p.m. and you know you've already won the day, that is quiet confidence. When you look someone in the eye and you know you've outworked them while they were still dreaming, that is self-respect. You don't have to say a word. People can sense the edge on you. They can feel the intensity of a man who has mastered the silence. Stop looking for motivation. Motivation is for the weak. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings change like the wind. You cannot build a life on a feeling. You build a life on discipline. And discipline is simply the ability to do the work when you don't feel like it, especially when no one is watching. That's the key. The world is obsessed with outcomes. You must be obsessed with the process. You must fall in love with the grind of the dark. You must find joy in the sweat that no one sees. You must find satisfaction in the exhaustion that no one applauds. Think about the competition. They are sleeping. They are dreaming of success. While they are dreaming, you are achieving. While they are wishing, you are working. By the time the sun rises, the gap between you and them has widened. By the time they have their first cup of coffee, you are already miles ahead. The dark is your unfair advantage. You have a choice. Every single morning, the world asks you the same question. Do you want to be comfortable, or do you want to be great? Most people choose comfort. They choose the extra hour of sleep. They choose the easy route. And as a result, they live mediocre lives. But you are reading this because you are done with mediocrity. You are done with being normal. You must embrace the shadow work. You must become a creature of the dark, not because you are hiding, but because you are preparing. An army that trains in the rain is an army that wins in the sun. A man who masters himself in the silence is a man who masters the world in the noise. Weakness always wants comfort. The dark is where you find your edge. Go there. Stay there. Win there. The light will come soon enough. And when it does, it will find you ready. It will find you dangerous. It will find you unrecognizable. Discipline changes everything. But the discipline of the dark changes your soul. Stop waiting for the light to start. Win in the dark first. Chapter 4. The comfort trap is a slow death. Look around you. Everything you see is designed to make you soft. The temperature is controlled. Your food is delivered. Your entertainment is infinite. You are living in a world built to ensure you never have to feel a moment of friction. But there is a price. There is always a price. The price of a painless life is a weak spirit. The price of constant comfort is the slow, agonizing death of your potential. Comfort is destroying your potential. Your brain is a survival machine, not a growth machine. It doesn't want you to be great. It wants you to be safe. It wants you to stay in the cave where it's warm. It wants you to blend in with the herd because the herd is safe from predators. But you are not a caveman anymore, and the predators have changed. Today, the predator isn't a wolf at the door. The predator is the screen in your pocket. The predator is the chair you sit in for 10 hours a day. The predator is the easy path that leads to a life of quiet regret. Most people stay weak because they avoid discomfort. They think that settling in is the goal. They think that once they reach a certain level of luxury, they've made it. They are wrong. That is when the rot begins. The moment you stop seeking resistance is the moment you start dying. You feel it, don't you? That low-level anxiety. That sense that you were meant for something more, but you're too tired to chase it. That's the slow death. It's the sound of your soul shrinking to fit the size of your comforts. You have a choice. You can choose the anesthesia of the modern world, or you can choose the silent edge. The silent edge is the space where social approval vanishes. It is the place where you are doing the work, but no one is watching. It is the moment you choose a cold room and a difficult book over a warm bed and a mindless scroll. Your brain hates the silent edge. It fears it. Why? Because there is no immediate validation there. There are no likes. There is no applause. There is only the silence, the effort, and you. When you stand on that edge, your brain will scream at you to turn back. It will tell you that you're being too hard on yourself. It will tell you that you've earned a break. That's the key. Your brain uses the language of self-care to keep you in a state of self-destruction. It frames weakness as balance. It frames cowardice as being realistic. Stop listening. You have spent your whole life seeking permission to be comfortable. You've looked to your friends, your family, and the internet to tell you it's okay to relax. And they will always tell you it's okay. They want you to stay in the herd because your growth makes them look at their own decay. You don't need their permission. If you want to find out who you really are, you have to leave the herd. You have to walk into the isolation of the silent edge. The herd offers you safety, but it demands your soul as payment. It offers you a place to belong, as long as you agree to never rise above the average. Choosing the hard path, the path of isolation, is the only way to build a self that is worth respecting. When you are alone with your work, with your pain, and with your discipline, you are forced to become your own source of strength. You no longer need the world to tell you that you are doing a good job. You know, because you were there in the dark when it was hard, and you didn't flinch. You have a choice: comfort or mastery. You cannot have both. Mastery requires a high tolerance for voluntary hardship. You must learn to seek out what others avoid. You must fall in love with the things that suck. The cold shower, the extra mile, the difficult conversation, the deep work when you are exhausted. These are not chores. They are opportunities to prove to your brain that you are no longer its slave. Every time you choose the difficult path, you are rewiring your nervous system. You are building a discomfort tolerance. Most people have a tolerance level of 0. The moment things get hard, they quit. The moment they feel a slight chill, they put on a coat. The moment they feel bored, they reach for a distraction. Because of this, they are easily controlled. They are slaves to their environment. But when you increase your tolerance for hardship, you become dangerous. You become a person who cannot be bribed with comfort. You become a person who can survive the winter while everyone else is freezing. This is the birth of quiet confidence. Quiet confidence isn't about shouting your achievements. It's about knowing, deep in your bones, that you can endure. It's the realization that you have faced this silent edge and didn't run back to the herd. Comfort is destroying your potential. Stop looking for the easy way out. Stop looking for the hack or the shortcut. The shortcut is a lie. The easy way out is the way back to the slow death. Start becoming the person who leans into the friction. If there are two ways to do something, choose the harder one. Not because you're a martyr, but because you are a craftsman. You are crafting a version of yourself that is built for more than just survival. You are building a mind that is a fortress. When you lose the fear of being uncomfortable, you lose the fear of life. You can lose your job, you can lose your money, you can lose your status, and you will still be okay. Because your value isn't tied to your comforts. Your value is tied to your ability to endure and overcome. Most people stay weak because they avoid discomfort. They live their lives in a narrow band of okayness. They never feel the highs of true achievement because they are too afraid of the lows of the struggle. They are the lukewarm souls the Stoics warned us about. Do not be lukewarm. Burn with a cold, disciplined fire. Seek the silent edge. Reject the herd mentality that tells you to take it easy. If you feel alone on this path, good. That means you're actually moving. The crowd doesn't move. It circles the same drain of mediocrity year after year. You have a choice. You can stay in the trap, or you can step out into the cold. The trap is warm, but it is a cage. The cold is harsh, but it is where you find your power. Your transformation begins the moment you stop asking, "How can I make this easier?" and start asking, "How much more can I take?" Build your self-respect on the foundation of what you have endured, not what you have consumed. That's the key. The world will try to lure you back with promises of security and ease. It will try to convince you that you've done enough. It will try to make you feel like an outcast for choosing the hard road. Smile at the world, and then keep walking. You are not looking for their approval. You are looking for mastery. And mastery is only found at the end of the road that no one else wants to take. Chapter 5. Protect your inner circle. The greatest threat to your future isn't the person who hates you. It is the person you trust with your secrets. Most people are leaks. They cannot hold on to a vision without pouring it out to the first person who will listen. They think they are looking for support. They think they are looking for accountability. They are actually looking for permission. They are looking for someone to tell them their dream is okay. They are looking for a pat on the back before they've even stepped onto the battlefield. Stop talking. Your mouth is leaking your future. Every time you announce your plans to someone who hasn't done the work, you are bleeding out your ambition. You are giving away the energy you need to actually execute. Most people stay weak because they avoid discomfort. The discomfort of being misunderstood. The discomfort of being quiet. They would rather have the temporary dopamine hit of social validation than the long-term power of a finished result. You have a choice. You can be an open book that everyone can read, or you can be a fortress that no one can breach. You must identify the idea vampires in your life. They are everywhere. They are your friends. They are your family. They are the people who say they want what's best for you, but they can only see you through the lens of their own limitations. An idea vampire doesn't always attack. Usually, they drain you through concern. Are you sure about that? Isn't that a bit risky? You've been working so hard. Don't you need a break? They aren't trying to help you. They are trying to pull you back into the herd. Your growth makes them uncomfortable. Your discipline reminds them of their own laziness. Comfort is destroying your potential. And the comfort of social approval is the most addictive drug on the planet. When you share your vision with a vampire, they inject doubt into your veins. They make you question your silent edge. They make you wonder if you're being too extreme. That's the key. If you want to achieve what others cannot, you must be willing to be perceived as too extreme. You must be willing to be the person they don't understand. Privacy is your shield. If they don't know what you're doing, they can't tell you why it won't work. If they don't know where you're going, they can't plant traps on the path. You don't need their permission. You don't need them to understand your diet. You don't need them to understand your sleep schedule. You don't need them to understand why you stopped going to the bars or why you're suddenly obsessed with your craft. Your goals do not belong to them. They belong to you. When you keep your head down and work in silence, you are building a reservoir of power. You are creating a secret self. This is the version of you that only you know. The one who wakes up at 4 a.m. The one who pushes through the pain. The one who is building an empire while everyone else is sleeping. This secret self is where your true confidence comes from. Most people have stage confidence. They look good on the outside, but they are empty on the inside. They need the crowd to tell them they are special. Quiet confidence is different. It is the confidence of a man who has secrets. He knows what he is capable of because he has done it in the dark, without an audience. Discipline changes everything, but only if it's yours and yours alone. If you only work hard when people are watching, you aren't disciplined. You're a performer. You're seeking the applause, not the mastery. The moment you make your discipline public, it becomes vulnerable to the opinions of others. You begin to do it for the like, the comment, or the nod of approval. But when your discipline is private, when it is a secret between you and the mirror, it becomes unbreakable. It becomes a part of your identity, not a part of your brand. Most people stay weak because they avoid discomfort. They cannot handle the discomfort of being the mystery in the room. They feel the need to explain themselves. They feel the need to prove they are doing something important. Kill that urge. If someone asks what you've been up to, tell them nothing much. Tell them you're just staying busy. Let them think you're boring. Let them think you've lost your spark. Let them think whatever they want. Their opinion is a ghost. It has no power unless you give it a seat at your table. Your inner circle should be a fortress, not a revolving door. If someone in your life drains your energy, remove them. If someone makes you feel like your ambition is a disease, cut them off. You cannot afford to carry dead weight when you are climbing a mountain. Comfort is destroying your potential. And the most dangerous comfort is the comfort of toxic familiarity. You stay around people who hold you back because it's easier than being alone. You have a choice: solitude with a purpose or company with no direction. Choose the solitude. Protect the vision. Guard the work. The world does not need to see your process. It only needs to see your results. Let the work speak for itself. When you finally emerge from your quiet phase, you won't need to explain anything. The transformation will be so absolute that it will be undeniable. This is the path of the professional. This is the path of the master. You are no longer a child seeking a gold star from your teacher. You are a creator. You are an architect of your own reality. That's the key. Your secrets are your assets. Your privacy is your power. Your silence is your weapon. Start becoming a vault. Stop being a billboard. The people who talk the most are usually the ones doing the least. The ones who are truly dangerous are the ones who have stopped talking altogether. They have realized that the only person they need to convince is themselves. Discipline changes everything, but only if it's yours and yours alone. Stop looking for a witness to your struggle. Be your own witness. Be your own judge. Be your own reward. When you value your own respect more than the respect of the inner circle, you become untouchable. Chapter 6: Emotional Shielding. The world is loud. It is chaotic. It is designed to provoke you. Every notification on your phone, every headline in the news, every passive-aggressive comment from a coworker, it is all an invitation. It is an invitation to leave your center. It is a request for you to give away your power. Most people accept every invitation they get. They are emotionally reactive. They are like dry leaves in the wind, blown about by the opinions of others and the circumstances of the day. If the sun is out, they are happy. If someone cuts them off in traffic, their day is ruined. If a stranger insults them online, they spend 3 hours crafting the perfect response. This is a state of slavery. Most people stay weak because they avoid discomfort. They avoid the discomfort of sitting with an emotion without acting on it. They think that expressing themselves is a virtue. It isn't. Usually, it's just a lack of a filter. It is a leak in the fortress of the self. Comfort is destroying your potential. And the most dangerous comfort is the emotional release. It feels good to yell. It feels good to complain. It feels good to defend your ego. But every time you react, you lose. You show the world exactly how you can be manipulated. You hand over the remote control to your mind to anyone willing to push your buttons. You have a choice. You can be a victim of your environment, or you can be the master of your internal state. This is the art of emotional shielding. It is the mastery of the non-reaction. Think about a time someone tried to provoke you. Maybe they questioned your competence. Maybe they insulted your character. What did you do? If you flared up, if you got defensive, If you started explaining yourself, you failed. You gave them exactly what they wanted. You validated their power over you. Now, imagine a different response. Absolute, cold stillness. They say something intended to hurt. You look at them. You don't blink. You don't scowl. You don't smile. You simply observe. You give them nothing. In that silence, the power dynamic shifts. Because you didn't react, their insult has nowhere to land. It falls to the floor between you. It makes them look small. It makes them feel the weight of the silence. That's the key. If you can control your silence, you can control your world. This level of control doesn't happen by accident. You cannot be a mess in private and a monk in public. This is why the silent edge matters. This is why the cold showers and the long hours of isolated work matter. When you have spent your morning doing things that are difficult and painful, a petty comment from a stranger feels like a mosquito bite. It is insignificant. You have built a high tolerance for voluntary hardship, so the involuntary hardship of the world no longer rattles you. You don't need their permission. You don't need their permission to be calm. You don't need the world to be peaceful for you to have peace of mind. Peace is not something you find. It is something you impose. It is a decision you make in the heat of the moment. Self-respect is the foundation of emotional shielding. When you respect yourself, you realize that your energy is too valuable to waste on people who don't matter. Why would you give your peace to someone you don't even like? Why would you let a person who hasn't done the work dictate your mood? Stop being so accessible. Stop being so readable. A man who reacts is a man who can be predicted. A man who can be predicted can be defeated. But a man who is still, a man who observes without judging and acts without vibrating, is dangerous. Most people stay weak because they avoid discomfort. They cannot handle the discomfort of being thought of as cold or arrogant. They want to be liked. They want to be understood. Forget being understood. Focus on being unshakable. If people think you are cold because you don't engage in their drama, let them. If they think you are arrogant because you don't laugh at their weak jokes or join in on their gossip, let them. Comfort is destroying your potential. The comfort of fitting in is a death sentence for your mental toughness. The herd is always emotional. The herd is always reacting. To leave the herd, you must develop a non-reaction. Start small. The next time you drop something and feel that flash of frustration, stop. Don't curse. Don't sigh. Just pick it up. The next time someone sends you an email that makes your blood boil, wait. Don't type a single word. Sit with the anger. Feel it in your chest. Watch it like a storm passing over a mountain. The mountain doesn't move because of the rain. The mountain just stays. Be the mountain. When you master the non-reaction, you gain a massive competitive advantage. While everyone else is losing their heads, you are seeing clearly. While they are blinded by rage or distracted by praise, you are calculating your next move. You have a choice. You can be the person who reacts or the person who responds. A reaction is an impulse. It is biological. It is weak. A response is a choice. It is psychological. It is powerful. The space between the stimulus and your response is where your freedom lives. Your job is to make that space wider. Every time you refuse to react, that space grows. Your shield becomes thicker. That's the key. If you can control your silence, you can control your world. Quiet confidence is the ultimate armor. It tells the world, you cannot touch me unless I allow it. This isn't about being a robot. It's about being a king. A king doesn't jump every time a peasant shouts. A king listens, evaluates, and acts when, and only when, it serves his purpose. Stop bleeding your energy out through your emotions. Stop letting people rent space in your head for free. If they want to get to you, make them work for it. Make it impossible. You are becoming something different now. You are becoming a person of gravity. People will notice. They will try to test your new shield. They will push harder to see if they can find a crack. Let them push. Let them strain. You just stay still. You don't need their permission. Your transformation is internal. Your strength is hidden. Your calm is your weapon. Most people will never understand this. They will spend their entire lives reacting to the shadows on the wall. They will die without ever knowing the power of a disciplined mind. But not you. You have chosen the silent edge. You have chosen the hard path. And on this path, the only person who can rattle you is the person you see in the mirror. Chapter 7. The result is the only announcement. We live in a world of premature announcements. Everyone is talking. Everyone is manifesting. Everyone is grinding in public. They post pictures of their gym shoes before they've even broken a sweat. They share day 1 of a project they will abandon by day 10. They are addicted to the dopamine of the idea. They want the credit for the intention without the labor of the execution. Stop talking. Your words are making you weak. Every time you tell someone what you're going to do, you release a little bit of the pressure that was supposed to drive you. You feel a sense of achievement just because you said it out loud. You get the social validation of a good for you before you've actually done anything good. Comfort is destroying your potential. And the most dangerous comfort is the comfort of talking about your goals. It feels productive, but it is the ultimate form of procrastination. It's a simulation of success that drains your actual drive. Most people stay weak because they avoid discomfort. They avoid the discomfort of being underestimated. They avoid the discomfort of being nothing for a while. They are so desperate to be seen as successful that they never actually become successful. They would rather look like they're winning than actually win. You have a choice. You can be a billboard for a product that doesn't exist, or you can be a finished masterpiece that requires no explanation. From this moment on, your new rule is this. The result is the only announcement. There are no progress reports. There are no vague posts about big things coming. There is no seeking input from people who haven't built anything. There is only the work, and then there is the finished result. An intention is a rumor. A result is a fact. People argue with rumors. They doubt rumors. They try to talk you out of rumors. But no one argues with a fact. A result is an undeniable reality that stands on its own. It doesn't need a caption. It doesn't need a like. It doesn't need your defense. That's the key. When you wait until the result is finished to speak, you bypass the entire world's skepticism. You don't give them a chance to tell you why it's impossible. By the time they hear about it, it's already done. You've moved the goalposts while they weren't even looking. You don't need their permission. You don't need their permission to change. You don't need them to understand your process. In fact, it is better if they don't. There is a massive psychological power in the shock value of a sudden transformation. Imagine the person who hasn't seen you in 6 months. They remember the old you, the one who complained, the one who was out of shape, the one who was perpetually about to start. Then, you reappear. You are 10 pounds lighter. Your skin is clear. Your posture is fixed. Your bank account is different. Your business is live. Your speech is measured and calm. They ask, what happened to you? You don't give them a speech. You don't tell them about the 4 a.m. wake-ups or the cold showers or the hours of isolation. You just look at them and say, I decided to work. That is true power. That is quiet confidence. Most people stay weak because they avoid discomfort. They cannot handle the silence. They feel the need to fill the air with their plans because they are afraid that if they don't talk, they don't exist. You must become a finisher. A talker starts 10 things and finishes none. A finisher starts one thing in total silence and refuses to look up until it is complete. A talker is driven by the opinions of others. A finisher is driven by the standard they have set for themselves. The world is full of half-painted canvases and half-written books and half-built businesses. These are the graves of people who talk too much. They spent all their fire on the announcement and had nothing left for the struggle. Comfort is destroying your potential. The comfort of sharing your journey is a trap. It makes the journey about the audience, not the destination. Stop sharing your journey. Start reaching your destination. When you are deep in the silent edge, your only audience is the mirror. If the man in the mirror is satisfied, that is enough. If the man in the mirror knows you did the work, you don't need 1,000 strangers on the internet to verify your effort. You don't need their permission. Let your work speak for you. When you let the work speak, you become a person of weight. People learn that when you do speak, it's because something has already changed. Your words gain value because you use them sparingly. You become the person that others observe with a mix of awe and curiosity. How did he do that? When did he find the time? They will never know. Because you were protected by the inner circle we talked about. Because you were shielded by the non-reaction. And because you realized that a finished result is the loudest thing in the world. You have a choice. Every morning, you wake up with a choice. You can go out and tell the world what you're going to do today, or you can go out and do it. One leads to a hollow life of potential. The other leads to a solid life of achievement. That's the key. A finisher identity is forged in the moments when you want to brag, but choose to stay quiet. It is forged when you hit a milestone, and instead of posting a picture of it, you simply move on to the next task. Self-respect isn't found in the applause of the crowd. It is found in the knowledge that you are a person who follows through. It is the realization that your word is a contract with yourself, and that contract is unbreakable. Stop seeking witnesses for your life. Start seeking results. The most successful people in the room are often the ones you know the least about. They don't have to tell you they're important. The reality of their life does the talking for them. Most people stay weak because they avoid discomfort. The discomfort of being forgotten. The discomfort of being out of the loop. Embrace that discomfort. Let them forget you while you are building. Let them think you've vanished. Let them assume you've given up. Your comeback will be the only announcement you ever need. Chapter 8. Become unrecognizable. The time for isolation is coming to an end. You have stayed in the dark. You have faced the silent edge. You have worked while the world slept, and you have remained quiet while the world talked. Now, you are stepping back into the light, but you are not the person who left. You have committed the ultimate act of self-defense. You have murdered your former self. The man you used to be, the one who was easily distracted, the one who sought validation, the one who settled for good enough, is gone. You didn't just change your habits. You changed your molecular structure. You changed the way you breathe, the way you stand, and the way you process reality. You have a choice. You can try to reintegrate into your old life and make everyone feel comfortable, or you can embrace the fact that you have become unrecognizable. Most people choose the first option. They go through a period of growth, but as soon as they return to their old social circles, they shrink back down. They don't want to be the weird one. They don't want to make their friends feel bad about their own stagnation. They trade their progress for the warmth of the herd. Comfort is destroying your potential. Do not shrink. If they are uncomfortable around the new you, let them be uncomfortable. Their discomfort is not your problem. It is a reflection of the gap between your discipline and their decay. When you return to the world, people will look for the old hooks they used to pull you into their drama. They will try to engage you in gossip. They will try to tempt you with the same old vices. They will expect you to react the same way you always did. When you don't, it will disturb them. That's the key. Being unrecognizable isn't just about how you look. It's about your presence. It's the stillness in your eyes. It's the way you no longer feel the need to fill every silence with nervous chatter. It's the fact that you are no longer moved by the things that used to break you. Most people stay weak because they avoid discomfort. They would rather be liked than be great. They would rather fit into a broken system than build a new one. But you have learned to love the silent edge. You have learned that the only respect worth having is the respect you earn from the mirror. You don't need their permission. You don't need them to acknowledge your growth. You don't need them to congratulate you on your discipline. In fact, if they don't understand who you are anymore, you've succeeded. The goal was never to become a better version of yourself. The goal was to become a different species entirely. Look back at the person you were 6 months ago. That person was a stranger. That person was a victim of circumstance. That person operated on hope and motivation. You operate on systems. You operate on discipline. You operate on a level of mental toughness that the average person cannot even comprehend. Weakness always wants comfort. You chose the edge. Now you own it. There is a specific kind of power that comes from being the most disciplined person in the room. You don't have to say a word. People can feel it. It's an aura of quiet confidence. It's the knowledge that while they were watching Netflix, you were in the forge. While they were complaining about the weather, you were out running in the rain. They cannot compete with you because they haven't endured what you've endured. They have no discomfort tolerance. You are a professional. They are amateurs. But here is the most important realization. The silent edge wasn't about the goal. It wasn't about the money. It wasn't about the body. It wasn't about the business. Those were just the targets you used to focus your energy. The real prize was the man you became in the process. The targets can be taken away. Markets crash. Bodies age. Accolades fade. But the version of you that knows how to suffer, how to stay silent, and how to execute without an audience, that version of you is permanent. You have a choice. You can treat this as a phase you went through, or you can realize that this is your new baseline. Most people treat discipline like a diet. They do it until they reach a certain weight, and then they go back to the garbage that made them sick in the first place. They think they've earned the right to be lazy. Comfort is destroying your potential. The moment you think you've arrived is the moment you start sliding back toward the herd. There is no finish line. The silent edge isn't a destination, it's a lifestyle. It is a constant, daily commitment to rejecting the easy path. You have become unrecognizable to the world. Now, you must remain unrecognizable to your own weaknesses. Stop looking for a reason to relax. Start looking for the next level of friction. You have built a fortress. Now, you must defend it. You defend it by never allowing yourself to become soft again. You defend it by keeping your inner circle tight. You defend it by maintaining your emotional shielding. That's the key. You are a finisher now. You are a person who follows through. You are a person who doesn't need a witness to do the right thing. When you walk down the street, when you enter a meeting, when you see your family, carry that silence with you. You don't need to explain your transformation. You don't need to apologize for your new standards. If they want to know how you did it, tell them the truth. I stopped looking for comfort. They won't understand. They can't. They are still trapped in the cave. They are still looking for the hack. You don't need their permission. You have graduated from the school of the average. You are now a student of the elite. And the first rule of the elite is that you never go back. You never lower your frequency to match the room. You make the room rise to match you. Most people stay weak because they avoid discomfort. You are no longer most people. You are the one who stood on the edge. You are the one who faced the silence. You are the one who realized that the slow death was the only thing worth fearing. You are unrecognizable, and that is the greatest victory you will ever achieve. Closing, the vow of silence. You've reached the end of the audio. Most people will feel a rush of motivation right now. They feel a warm glow in their chest because they've listened to words about discipline, toughness, and mastery. They feel like they've already made progress just by hitting play. That feeling is a lie. It is a chemical trick your brain is playing on you. You haven't done anything yet. You haven't changed a single thing about your life. You are still the same person you were 30 minutes ago, just with a fresh set of ideas in your head. The work hasn't even begun. The test starts the second you turn this off. The test starts when the voice in your ear stops and the silence of your room takes over. What are you going to do next? You have a choice. You can pick up your phone and text someone about what you just learned. You can post a quote from this book on your social media to show everyone how focused you are. You can tell your friends about your new Silent Edge philosophy. If you do that, you have already failed. You will have taken the raw energy of these truths and traded it for a cheap hit of social validation. You will have chosen the comfort of being seen as disciplined over the reality of being disciplined. Comfort is destroying your potential. And the most addictive comfort is the comfort of being understood by people who are staying weak. That's the key. If you want to own the transformation we've talked about, you must take the vow of silence. You must put your phone down. You must sit in the silence of your own mind. And then, you must get to work. Most people stay weak because they avoid discomfort. They avoid the discomfort of the silent edge because it lacks the immediate safety of social approval. They are terrified of being alone with their own effort. They are afraid that if no one sees them working, the work doesn't count. But you know better now. You know that the world rewards those who shine in the light, but God and greatness reward those who win in the dark. Winning in the light is easy. Anyone can perform when the cameras are on. Anyone can be tough when they have an audience. That's not discipline. That's theater. True power, the kind of power that makes you unrecognizable, is forged in the shadows. It is forged when you are tired, alone, and have every excuse to quit, but you keep going because your self-respect is the only witness you care about. You have a choice. You can go back to the noise. You can return to the herd and participate in the slow death of mediocrity. You can go back to being the person who talks about what they're going to do while never actually doing it. Or, you can keep your edge. You can decide that from this moment forward, you are a finisher. You can decide that your results will be your only announcement. You can decide that you no longer need the world's permission to be great. You don't need their permission. You don't need them to understand your intensity. You don't need them to validate your sacrifices. The only thing you need is the ironclad discipline to do what is required, especially when you don't feel like doing it. Discipline changes everything. It is the filter that separates the masters from the dreamers. It is the shield that protects you from the idea vampires and the emotional reactivity of the modern world. It is the foundation of the quiet confidence you have begun to build. But remember, discipline is a perishable resource. You cannot store it. You must generate it every single day. Every morning you wake up, you are back at zero. Every morning, the comfort trap will be waiting for you. Every morning, the The world will try to pull you back into the warmth of the herd. And every morning, you must choose the edge. Most people stay weak because they avoid discomfort. Let them stay weak. Their weakness is the backdrop against which your strength will shine, not through your words, but through the undeniable weight of your presence. The time for talking is over. The time for learning is over. Now, it is time for execution. Go back into the shadows. Go back to the work that no one sees. Go back to the silent edge where there is no applause, no likes, and no validation. Don't tell them your plans. Don't tell them your goals. Don't tell them you've changed. Show them. Let the person who emerges from the dark 6 months from now be so disciplined, so calm, and so successful that they are completely unrecognizable to the person listening to this right now. The transformation is yours, but only if you are willing to pay for it in silence. That's the key. The world is waiting for you to fail. The herd is waiting for you to come back to the cage. Your own brain is waiting for you to choose the easy path. Prove them all wrong. Shut out the world. Find your edge. Win in the dark.